I was struggling a little bit for a topic to talk about this first half of the show. That was, I will say, before the Nintendo Direct came out. And old mate Zach, I said old mate, young, better-looking Zach over here, came up with a wicked idea about us talking about not our favourite games, but our favourite expansions to games. Because we've all been playing those games where we just wanted a little bit more, and then they gave us a little bit more, and it was fucking awesome.
Yep.
So we've picked deuce each that we're going to go through and tell you which one they are and why they're our favourites. And we'll keep it a little bit shorter. Zach, you want to kick us off?
I do. So my first pick was, and it was hard, it was Dragon Age Origins Awakening. Now, Dragon Age Origins I got on the Xbox 360. And I did not know anything about BioWare or any of the games they made. I just saw this cover. I'm like, this kind of looks cool. And I took a gamble on it. And it is the first ever game that I beat more than once.
Whoa. Oh, wow. That's cool.
Being, turns out I have chronic ADHD. And being interested in something for that long is really hard. So I never beat it. Once I rolled credits, that was it. Never touched the game again until Dragon Age Origins. This game had me hooked by the balls. It is so good.
How long would you say the DLC is?
I reckon I got at least about 20,
I would say
30 hours out of it.
20, 30.
20, 30 out of it?
Yeah.
Holy shit,
So
that's a whole other game.
You bought it like a whole other game. So it actually had a physical release. And it's based 6 months after Dragon Age Origins. You have your party, and you have this whole new issue to deal with more Darkspawn and compelling, like amazingly well-written stories. It was dark, it was gritty. It felt like a game made for mature audiences. It wasn't dumbed down, and you had real moral choices that had an effect on the game. And these were some hard choices. Like, one of them is spoilers for a game that's like 15 years old. There was one thing where you had to decide, do I defend my keep or do I defend this town? Do I leave all my friends and my comrades to suffer without me being the strongest and the leader, or do I leave the town to fend for themselves? I went to the town. And what was really cool, this was something that didn't happen a lot, especially back then, is that your save file from Dragon Age Origins directly correlated to Dragon Age Awakening.
That is cool.
Mm-hmm. Which then they also went on to Dragon Age 2 and then Dragon Age Inquisition, and then the game stopped being made. This game, I got so much game time out of this Awakening expansion because I beat Dragon Age Origins twice and I beat Awakening twice, and fantastic. Highly recommend if you ever give it a crack.
Love that.
So good.
And rare back then to have like a whole expansion that's a separate thing.
Yeah.
So me bringing Dragon Age Origins was completely redundant because it's not even it.
Not at all, because seeing a physical copy again is very rare.
Do you want to touch it?
I already did.
Do you want to touch it?
Yeah, he did. All right, Anto, what's yours? First one. Relatively brief.
Yeah, I'll keep it as brief as I can, but just quick shout out to Mass Effect 3 Citadel.
Dylan the Villain, yes.
I completely forgot about Mass Effect while I was like racking my brain over this for the last few days, and Citadel is up there in like my top 5 DLCs.
Fantastic.
Such a good end to the
Shout out to Townsy, Bioshock Infinite Burial at Sea.
Burial at Sea?
That's the one. At sea.
Diablo 2 Lord of Destruction, yes.
How come Ben never fucks up words like... Ben's not here. Ben's not... there is a reason.
We'll talk about it later.
Oh, yes. Well, there'll be a moment. I'll tell you about why Ben's not here later. It is good. Sorry, what is your...
All right, my first pick is a fairly recent one. Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erd Tree. As everybody knows, I am kind of nuts and really like difficult video games.
Rock hard.
Shadow of the Erd Tree sort of dialed up the difficulty of Souls games, in my opinion, to like 12 out of 10, which is great. Also statistically impossible, really. But the coolest thing for me, at least... that the DLC did was not the fact that it was, a $20 expansion that gave you 80 plus hours of gameplay.
Nice.
Sensational.
I don't know, like for some reason, the last like maybe 5 years or so, I turned into an obsessed trophy hunting fiend.
Townsy, the game of the year everyone agreed on, fuck off.
And like games, I've sort of stopped playing for fun, and I was like, I'm going to play games based around how easy it is for me to get all of the trophies in these games. And this broke me out of that.
Hey.
Oh, cool.
This made me just enjoy playing video games for
That's
the fun
cool.
of them again.
That's very
because
cool.
it doesn't have any trophies.
That's awesome.
So I was
actually.
able to sit and focus on it and play it for what it was, which is just a difficult as nails action adventure game. And since playing this, I am now having way more fun with video games again. Because I'm not sitting and going, how platinumable is this? I'm playing it, and if I enjoy it enough, I'll platinum it. If I don't, I'll finish it and I'll move on. It's been wonderful.
I just did one of those things.
I've even gone back to like playing 3DS games just for fun. I'm not like
damn, dude,
sticking myself to my PlayStation
Anto,
or my
no
Portal.
joke. I've considered getting a 2DS XL.
I bought another
For this
one
exact reason.
recently, modded it, and have been enjoying the shit out of it. It's been great. But yeah, so this is my first pick because it made me enjoy video games again.
That's awesome. My first pick is from probably the first DLC that I actually bought. Because I saw it advertised and I was like, fuck, I need to play that. I was playing Borderlands 2. I'd been playing Borderlands 2 cooperatively with some mates for quite a while. We would get together with 2 TVs in the lounge room and a couple of PS3s and play the 4 of us. It was
LAN
like
parties.
almost, it was basically LAN party stuff. And we all got together and we decided one New Year's Eve that we were going to play Borderlands 2. We were going to do Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon's Keep. And we did that, and then after that we watched Teeth, but that was a whole other thing.
That's a great movie.
But we got together and we played this where Tiny Tina, who was introduced as a side character in Borderlands 2, runs a D&D game, but it's not Dungeons and Dragons. It was something like Badlands and Badasses or something.
That sounds right.
That's
Or something along those lines. And then so you're in the game playing, and then she's telling the story, she's DMing, but then she'll, at some point, realize she fucked up the story and say something, and then the whole world changes.
Bunkers and badasses?
Bunkers and badasses. That's it. Bunkers and badasses.
There it is.
There you go. And then she'll be saying, like, you're in this decrepit, wasteland, and someone says, but hey, why does it all look real pretty? And she's like, oh, whoops. And all of a sudden, all the environment changes to suit the storytelling that she's doing.
That's cool.
It's fucking cool. It wasn't long, which means I got to finish it. And it was just more of Borderlands 2, which is, in my opinion, by far the best.
Agreed. I'm excited for the new one, though. I'm
Me too.
cautiously optimistic.
Me too, because it looks more like this sort of stuff, which I'm down for. Brayden,
Howdy.
your first DLC that you think is the coolest.
So, if you thought a game was good because it had freaking Keanu Reeves in it,
Yeah.
The Matrix Path of Neo.
and yes, oh my god, I love that.
Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure on the SNES.
I don't remember that one, Floppy.
Me neither. I just made it up. Probably exists, though.
Probably. Yeah. And then you're like, hey, for the DLC, we cast Idris Elba.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Like, that's ridiculous.
Amazing.
The plot line for this is actually super compelling. It's just more of Cyberpunk 2077 post fixing it.
For those who don't know what the DLC is called,
Phantom Liberty.
Don't know.
Phantom Liberty was that
That's
one.
such a cool name.
it is such a cool name, eh?
The reveal was fantastic because it was straight up just, hey, we got Idris Elba in this one. And then
That's all you need.
Yeah, it was. That was basically how they sold it. And then it's an entire new area. You get this entire subplot with Idris's character and all this stuff going on. And it's more of Cyberpunk 2077 post them fixing it, which is actually really good.
Yeah, I do need to try this on, say, my PS5 or something, see what it looks like.
Oh, it is. This is one of my favorite RPGs of all time.
Dylan is muting because he hasn't played the DLC yet. I'll give you a thumbs up.
No spoilies. No spoilies. Don't worry. Real good.
All right, Zach, your second pick for your favorite DLC.
My second pick. So, as Herbie mentioned in previous episodes, my beautiful wife got me a PS5 for Christmas.
Give her a round of applause.
Yep.
What a wonderful person.
Absolutely phenomenal. Which means I was finally able to play to its completion Ghost of Tsushima, which is one of the greatest games of all time.
Sushi Ghosts.
It's called Ghost of Tsushima.
Ghost of Tsushima.
Ghost of Sashimi.
Ghost of Tsushima.
Ghost of Salami.
Very good.
Ghost of Tsunami. It's one of them.
And with the Game of the Year edition that I was given by one of my good friends for Christmas, come the expansion, which is Iki Island.
The director's cut?
Yeah.
Yeah, it came with that. Yeah.
Director's cut came with Iki Island, which adds like another 30 hours, depending if you want to do everything.
That's so big. So there's 3 islands initially, isn't
Yep.
there? And this adds a whole nother island?
And I went to, because I was addicted to like, legendary armor, you say? Legendary move? Well, say less. So I jumped.
Say less.
So I jumped on this boat to go into Iki Island before I finished the main game, and they did such a good job because spoilers for no spoilers, but Jin has to deal with his grief over his father's death on Iki Island.
Dad dies?
Pardon?
I haven't got that far in the game yet.
Oh well, he gets drugged, so you can't.
Damn
have a
it!
choice.
No, I knew that.
But it is they did such a good job tying that expansion into the story, so you could beat that while still completing the original game. But yeah, once you go there, you're stuck there, and you have to smash and you go through more Ghosts of Tsushima, which is even better. And there's awesome boss that you get to fight, compelling story. It is so good. It's just more Ghosts of Tsushima, but being that character progression of Jin as he deals with his grief. And processing his dad's death, and you learn about all these things, like tidbits of his childhood that made him who he is. It's so good. So good.
That's right. Iki Island is the one with the witch doctor?
Yep.
Yeah.
The eagle.
Is it all like sticky and stuff, and that's why it's called Icky? So that was my best Ben joke. I'm sorry.
It was very Ben.
You know what, Floppy? That gets an applause.
It does.
Cool.
Very good Ben joke.
Thank you. I drew the line at shaving my
I'll
head,
keep it.
so
You should have worn a bowl cap.
I should have worn a bowl cap.
My biggest gripe with Ghost of
I love
Tsushima is I
karate.
didn't get more content.
Yeah, do you think it'll get more?
No.
No,
getting a
well, no,
sequel,
we got
so-
Ghost of Yotai coming out.
Which I'm so excited for.
It does look cool.
But yeah, the eagle,
I really should play this.
it's so good, dude.
Floppy, you haven't played this?
I started playing it, but I wasn't in a space where I could invest the right amount of time, so I
Okay,
stopped
fair.
because I didn't want to force myself and then not like it.
That's I respect that. Good
I
call.
made an educated decision.
See,
I'm about to replay this.
Up here for thinking, down there for dancing.
I'm in a similar position to you, except I wasn't enjoying it because I insisted on playing it on the hardest difficulty where one hit kills you.
Sounds about right.
I'm not going to do that. I'm
No.
going to drop a difficulty
Yay.
to maybe
Dude,
just hard.
I like this, Anto.
I was going to say, some of these guys,
I like old Anto.
they clap your cheeks with some cheese.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, like some
that
of
was
these
a sentence.
some of these characters are like the cheesiest bit of bullshit. Even on normal, I'm like, okay, I'm about ready.
Oh, like they're hard.
Yeah.
Okay. Really had no idea what you were
Some of
alluding
the-
to.
Yeah, some of them, like these monks in the Iki Island, they just start chanting at them, which means you can't parry. They just attack you relentlessly.
It's nuts.
But yeah, so good. So good. I could have done with another expansion pack or two. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. All right. I feel that. Now, Anto, your next one, I feel like we probably could have guessed as well, actually. This is something you've been playing for like years,
I mean,
right?
you probably could have guessed, but you would have had to pick between like 4 or 5 expansions to figure out which one.
I would have
damn.
guessed it.
But yeah,
It's the one you've mentioned the most.
But I'm pretty sure you've talked about this before. So,
Yeah.
and tell us quickly
I will try and keep it
why
to under
this
a few
one over
minutes.
the other one.
yes, I will try
Why
and keep it
this
to under
one?
a few minutes. So my next pick is Shadowbringers, Final Fantasy XIV. It's the 3rd expansion for the new Final Fantasy XIV.
Of 4?
Yeah, so there was 1.0, and then there was A Realm Reborn, which was basically
I remember
Final
that.
Fantasy XIV 2. Then there was Heavensward,
Beautiful people.
Stormblood, Shadowbringers, Endwalker, and now we've got what's it called? Dawn Trail. Shadowbringers is my pick because of how different it is to the others.
Okay.
It still ties into the overall story of Final Fantasy XIV, but it follows sort of a trope in anime that's sort of been popularized in the last maybe 5-10 years.
Bouncing boob physics?
No.
Oh.
The genre is called isekai, which
boy.
is basically someone gets transported to another world that's all fantasy based and weird and different to their own, and that's what happens to you in this expansion. You get sort of pulled across effectively universes
Look
to
at
an
that
alternate
bow.
world. And instead of being the Warrior of Light, which is a trope in itself in Final Fantasy, you are brought to this world as the Warrior of Darkness to bring back the night, because the world that you're brought to has been flooded with light and it's skewed the balance of like existence.
Okay. That's cool.
That
sounds very
not
deep.
even getting into like how good this expansion is. It's so
The fuck is a critter doing there?
yeah, it's weird.
Jesus.
I
I'd kick
I
that.
really need more than a few minutes, but I will keep it short. I promise.
We'll go 30 seconds.
I can't do it in 30 seconds. That's
Oh,
so
look, fight
annoying.
God.
We have to.
Yeah, TLDR, the basis of any Final Fantasy is get strong, fight God. But
whoa,
this one in and of itself
run
could
away.
be a standalone installment of the Final Fantasy series because of how unique it is compared to the others.
that's very cool.
The way this ends had Coda and I crying to the point we had migraines because it was so emotionally impactful.
Jesus Christ.
Because of the way the characters are. This introduces the best villain in Final Fantasy history.
Are you saying
best
better
villain.
than Sephiroth?
Better than Sephiroth. The way
Shit.
Final Fantasy XIV wraps up by the end, I liked the villains more than my player character.
Wow.
It is so good, so powerful. The music is brilliant. The art direction's great. The
They do
characters
magic
are
tricks?
amazing. It's just absolutely phenomenal. And this is the high point of Final Fantasy XIV. This is the best part of the entire 10-year saga.
That's quite the accolade.
This made me go, holy shit, I don't think Final Fantasy VII is my favorite game anymore.
Oh, damn.
This is
Okay.
how good that is.
I don't know if my expansion is going to be to be able to live up to that. Fuck. All right. My next one, my second one, is from my favorite game of all time, Metal Gear Solid, PS1.
Yes.
An expansion was released for this. Now, in Japan, it was released as a third disc with the game, but in the US, Europe, and here, you could buy it as it's by itself in another jewel case. Right down here, I've got it pictured. I don't know if you can see it in there. There we go. That is Metal Gear Solid, the VR missions. So what they did is they created a whole bunch of little scenarios that you played through in what would appear like a Tron-like VR world, but you as Snake and all of the genome soldiers were actual people, and you had to go through and you had, go and sneak through here and under this thing and take out that person, but without being seen. And a whole bunch of missions like that. And so they were all small and achievable, and it was so much more of the parts that I loved about Metal Gear Solid, but in an area where I could just skip to next one and next one and next one and get that sense of achievement without going through 2-hour cutscenes, which I do love, but not all the time.
And it let you play as another character, right?
It did. Whose name I can't remember.
Grey Fox.
Grey Fox.
Dude.
Cyborg Ninja to the uninitiated. But yeah, I loved it because it came in the same kind of case as the original game, with the same artwork by the artist whose name eludes me, but is beautiful artwork. Yeah, I'm not going to open that now. There's no need. That was mine. That was my second and final one. Brayden.
Howdy, hey. This is, I think,
I did that.
Anto, I don't play these hard games like you, my man.
You're talking about XCOM 2. This is one of the hardest games I've
That's
ever
what I
known.
mean. This is the only game that I play that is really hard. Man, XCOM 2, they took a good game and went, okay, what if we made it even freaking better? And they added 4 DLC packs plus this giant expansion called War of the Chosen. Adds heaps of plot to it, but is also just like, it's so difficult. I can't stress this enough. Like, XCOM 2 can already be very hard. Like, if you already want to play it in extremely hard mode, you play it with, like, permadeath is on, so if you lose a character, they're dead forever. Like, you can't resave, you can't, like, quick load back or anything. And this just adds so much to the game. And you can regularly get the entire pack as like one piece with the game, all the DLC packs and War of the Chosen on like a great deal. Like, they always have sales.
Yeah,
and,
this
like,
regularly ends up on Steam for like $20.
Oh yeah, it's really good value because this is like hundreds of hours of game at this point. But yeah, it's sick. It's a really good time. XCOM was already great. XCOM 2 made it even better. XCOM 2 War of the Chosen just made it even better. And a lot harder, if that's what you want.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that wraps it up. That is two each of our favorite expansions for games. Now, go out, play those base games, get all the expansions. Doesn't matter how expensive they are. Buy them anyway.
Final Fantasy XIV is free to play up to level 60 with an unlimited free trial.
That is true.
Do you work for them?
Square Enix.
Do you work for them?
I wish.